Gear Talk Radio, you're in to all things music.
Welcome to Music Gear Talk. Discover the tech that inspires the pros and powers today's music industry.
Yeah, it's the Music Gear Talk radio show powered by the mighty EnterTalk Radio Network, actually now known as EnterTalk Media, because we do TV and a bunch of other things as well. My name is Florentino Buenaventura. I'm here as your show host today, and we've got a great show. Actually, kind of a long distance kind of family member, because he works a lot with our great J.R. Robinson, and we have Florian Simmendinger. You know, that's what I get for looking at your name. Just
You butchered it already.
I know, right?
We're like 30 seconds into this.
How you doing, Florian?
Yeah, I'm doing great, and I have to say, you pronounced my name perfectly. So, the practicing earlier paid off.
Well,
great stuff. And I'm excited to be here. This is great.
Yeah, definitely. Well, your product's pretty revolutionary, and you know what? In this segment, we just want to jump right into it, brother. We want to hear about you and how you kind of came up with this product. You know, your history with music, and share with the listening audience. All that is Florian.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. So maybe first of all, the product we make is called the Soundbrenner Pulse. And so the basic idea, the very fundamental idea behind it is it's a vibrating metronome that you wear. It's connected, so you control it through an app. And essentially, rather than listening to a click, you can feel the beat. So that's how it all started. And we had this idea in 2014 in Berlin. We're two founders at Soundbrenner. Me, myself, I'm a bit more business-minded. I studied business, and my co-founder studied music technology in McGill, and he built instruments and these kind of things, and is more technology-minded.
Okay.
And basically, we came together in 2014, and we looked at everything that was happening in the wearable space, because that was when it was really hot. Yeah. So there was rumors about the Apple Watch coming out, and Fitbit was at its peak. And we looked at what was happening in the music industry, and we felt like there's no one doing anything interesting. And so when we had the idea to make a vibrating metronome, we were so excited by it. It kind of took over our lives at that point.
Wow. And so you actually designed it from a market need. That's kind of a rarity in this industry. Usually it's more of a personal need. I wish this was here for me, and I can't find it. So it's kind of a similar thing, but you actually looked at the trend, the marketing trend. Now, was that your inspiration, or was that your partner's inspiration, going, hey, let's make something with that's going to be great for drummers and any musician that wants to make sure their timing is correct?
We're both musicians, so we definitely felt the pain of practicing with a metronome. I play piano, and I used to always, my teacher always told me, you got to use a metronome, Florian, and I really hated that thing. And so someone else told us about this very loosely. Wouldn't it be great if you can sync multiple musicians with a vibration? And we were like, oh, yeah, of course, I'm sure that already exists. And then we looked it up, and actually there was no awesome, well-done execution of anything like this. And actually, oftentimes when we tell people about our idea, they think it already exists. That's oftentimes the first question. Oh, that doesn't already exist? And the answer is no, not really. And I think whenever people assume that, then you're onto a really good idea. So that's how it kind of got started. And actually, I remember my teacher back then. He would always tap the beat onto me. When we were sitting in class, he would tap on my shoulder to give me the beat. So I could relate to that experience as well. So yeah.
Yeah, being a bass player, that's really part of it. Almost more importantly than hearing the bass is feeling the bass, and feeling that that connection, that tactile connection is huge. I cannot say I've tried one yet, though. I've got a couple of friends that swear by them and use them, and they're drummers. They're pretty much predominantly been using old time clicks, and they found that this is a better way to do it. And at some point, when I get out and play again, maybe me and Paul need to try that out. That would be good with a band thing. I think that's one of the unique things, right, Paul?
I don't have to worry about timing. I'm a guitar player. I just do what I want.
That's true. Guitar players have no sense of timing, man. So
yeah, exactly. Like what we hear from a lot of drummers is, they're complaining, but then it's like, okay, with this, because you can sync them. So that's one of the coolest features. You can actually synchronize multiple Soundbrenner Pulse, and every single player in the band can wear one. And so there's no excuses. You can see with the visual metronome who's, are you on beat or not? And obviously, if you wear one, then you can feel it as well. So.
And I think most drummers, that I've spoken to, really hate the click because of like the clickiness of the click. It's that monotonous ding, 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 and it kind of it takes you out of the song. And because you want to hear your drums, you don't want to hear the click. So I imagine feeling it as being, a physical thing is very liberating for them.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't hear it. Period. You got some loud ass guitar player playing in the background.
We're the problem. Sure,
the guitar players are always a problem when it comes down to timing. So I have a very different question. Soundbrenner, where did that name come from, man?
That's funny. Essentially, it's a German creation, I guess. Brenner in German means burner, so it's like burning the sound into your skin or some sort of. Oh, okay. That was a bit of the idea, but we also thought it just sounds really cool and it's memorable and catchy.
It is.
So it made sense when we came up with it, and then obviously the pulse. Comes from pulsing, the beat, heartbeat, everything. It sort of relates to the product.
Yeah, that is definitely the case, and that's. I think you guys came out 2 or 3 years ago, right?
Not that long ago actually. 2 years, pretty much on the spot. The product's available, and then of course it takes some time until you actually get it in the stores. Make the first marketing materials and so forth. So really, it's been roughly a year where we are really at it in terms of selling the device globally.
Yeah, and like I said, we did some videos with you guys with JR back when you guys first launched, and Greg connected you guys. So JR Robinson, our host of the Vinyl Night radio show here on Intertalk Radio Network and Intertalk Media. So, and JR is the top session drummer. Let's kind of start off. Who was the first notable player playing with Soundbrenner, and how has the professional audience helped to make an impact for you guys with the market share?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, whenever you come up with something completely new, especially if you think about it, what we do, right? It's something that you can't really explain, but that you kind of need to experience, because you can't really imagine how does it feel like to pick up the beat with a vibration. And so we found that getting endorsements from artists are really key in getting that experience across, because they obviously know what they're talking about and can explain that quite well. And so totally relevant for us, or totally important part of our marketing. And it also has been, if you invent something, if you create a product, obviously selling it is one thing, and that's nice, and you celebrate the success. But for me, the greatest thing is actually to see it out there in action and see musicians making music with it. That gives me the greatest joy. I think every inventor probably feels the same about something like that, because you can really see, all the things you thought of, they're paying off, and they're actually out there in use. So that's been really great, and it's super rewarding that there are amazing musicians like J.R. Robinson who believe in the product, who love to use it, and who say it adds real value to their gear.
Yeah, for sure.
Great.
Who was the first notable that picked up on it?
First notable players, I would say, in terms of who we made a video campaign with was probably actually J.R. Robinson.
Okay.
But then we had a few others now down the road. So, for example, Robert Zarzo is a guitar player in LA who really loves it. Then we had Jordan Rudess from Dream Theater who played with it and was really into it. And over time, we keep expanding it now. If you go to our website, we have a huge list of artists, probably 20, 30, great players who endorse it.
In fact, Vahag is a longtime friend. You know, it's kind of been cool to see him up there. I've actually played with him in the worship set in the worship environment. He's one of his good friends is one of my great friends as well. So, and then all the great players, you know, Carl Cherry, you know, Tommaso Lotti, and all these guys. You really kind of span the gamut, because usually at first, and usually you'd think of this type of tool for a drummer, but I think it's really kind of expanded out to everything from guitar players to keyboard players, and that's Vahag's a keyboard player, well-known keyboard player, and that's very cool. And you've got even percussionists from Duran Duran, Chastity Asher. Yeah. So that's
true. I mean, we see in our app the instrument of every user, so we kind of get a global statistic, and we have actually as much guitar players as drummers, and that's also cool to see, because that means we're actually helping people who previously may have not relied on a metronome to dial into a new tool and get their rhythm game to the next level. So that's pretty nice as well.
Yeah, and I think that is very cool. So it's really a tool, like you said, it's for the whole band, and the nice thing is it's a metronome that the whole band can feel, but not necessarily have to be distracted from in their cans if they're recording, or in their monitor speakers or anything of that nature. That's always I think Paul kind of hit the nail on the head. It's a little bit of a soul crushing when you have to play this, something that's
it's like if you're tapping your foot to keep the time, like the physicality of it keeps you in it much better than having to listen to something and interpret it through your brain.
Yeah, because your body is really the
exactly that's what's measuring the time most precisely.
Yeah, definitely. And so with this, now you guys are $99 for this product. That's the that's the MAP, as we call in this industry, manufacturer approved pricing. Now you weren't. Was it always $99? For some reason, I remember it being about $199 when it first came out. Do I remember rightly, or was it always $99?
No, it was actually always $99. We had a very brief time during the crowdfunding campaign before it was even properly available, where we had a 20% discount because it's a pre-order, and that helped us to finance the very first production. But ever since it's on the market, it has been $99. So that's been pretty consistent, and going to stay that way as well. Yeah.
Awesome. So obviously the Kickstarter campaign worked. What was the funding that you guys went for that?
At the time, we raised $250,000 in pre-orders. Wow. So that's been definitely a big success. There are not many products made for musicians that raised that amount. So we definitely knew at the time we are onto something that makes sense and that's going to have a future. So that's really exciting. But then also the realities of hardware are even that amount is not enough to actually get the first production run off the ground.
Yeah.
You almost need $1 million or even more. There are many companies that use $5 to $10 million to produce the first product.
Yeah, that's $250,000 is just a drop in the bucket nowadays in the business world. We understand that all too well. Hey, we're going to be going into a commercial break here in a very short couple of seconds now. Actually, 10 seconds I see from the clock. And this has been Enter Talk Radio's Music Gear Talk radio show. My name is Florentino Buenaventura. I want to give a shout out to Pitbull Audio. Pitbull Audio is the place where they just want you to play it loud and never let go. So be right back in a very short few minutes.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Welcome to Music Gear Talk. Discover the tech that inspires the pros and powers today's music industry.
We're back with Music Gear Talk on Intertalk Radio and Intertalk Media. My name is Florentino, and I'm here with Florian. So we want to confuse you folks right now. So Florian is Simmendinger, and he is the CEO of Soundbrenner, or the sound burning in your heart and in your pulse. There, we're talking about his revolutionary product, and we've just kind of covered how it got started, and who are some of the people using it. Let's kind of talk about next steps. What are we seeing right now for Soundbrenner? Where are you guys looking at moving from this particular arena? Did you show anything new at NAMM?
I'd love to talk about sort of the broader idea for Soundbrenner, where we want to take it next. And in terms of next products, we didn't have anything specific to show yet at NAMM, but there'll definitely be some exciting things coming out of Soundbrenner this year. Maybe the first sort of big area that we focus on is actually software. So a lot of people probably don't know this, or maybe some have heard. We also develop apps, specifically the app that works with the Soundbrenner Pulse, and that's actually become a big part of Soundbrenner, because the app at this point has over 200,000 musicians who use it every single month, and we have over 1 million downloads of the app. So,
wow.
So that's a super exciting part, and it's basically a free standalone metronome app. And every month we build new features. So, a lot of my time goes towards that, conceiving new things, improvements, and then working with the engineers in our company to build them out. Yeah.
Oh, well, very, very cool. That's actually a very interesting conversion tool. It seems like you basically get them, using, the metronome in it, and then at some point they're going to want to, step up to actually having the tactile feel. Have you seen that being a big success for you guys?
Yeah, that was exactly the idea. We said, okay, we already have to make a companion app for the hardware, so we might as well make the companion app a really great standalone metronome app, and maybe we have a shot at making the best metronome app in the world. It's ambitious, but why not? That was our idea. And that has worked out really great. Like if you go to the App Store right now, you type in metronome, we're always in the top 3 in almost every country in the world. So that's been great, and I think that kind of led us to cast the net a bit broader for Soundbrenner. So one of the things we want to work on moving forward is sort of the broader idea of bringing design and innovation and technology to the music industry, because what we observed at the very beginning is still true today, that there are not that many companies who do something really innovative or revolutionary in the space, especially for musicians. I think if you look at almost any other space, like take fitness for example, all the innovations of the last 10 years in mobile computing, sort of this new design, user-centeredness, all these things haven't really arrived for musicians, and we think there's a huge opportunity to build great tools that don't exist today. And so rather than just making a better vibrating metronome, we actually have some pretty exciting stuff cooking that we're gonna release soon.
Awesome. Now, I don't know if this is already done yet, but one of my questions for you is, with a DAW, say Pro Tools or any of the other ones, Cubase or any of that, is there a way to tie in the pulse to the metronome of the actual DAW? How would that work?
Yeah, so that has been one of the biggest, one of the big focus points for us, is to keep adding more support for more and more of these things. So we offer a variety of integrations by now. So for example, one standard we support is Ableton Link. So that allows you, no matter which Ableton you use, Mac or Windows, to directly send the signal to our app and then to the Soundbrenner Pulse. What we recently released in beta is just MIDI support. So that's super there's no limits to what MIDI can do in a sense. You can connect it obviously into any DAW, and that would then usually work with Bluetooth, or you can even use a cable or also Wi-Fi and connect it to our app and then to the Soundbrenner Pulse. And then for Mac computers specifically, that's the most reliable way right now. We coded a whole new app called Soundbrenner DAW Tools that you can use to connect Mac DAWs to the device directly to the computer with no app in between on the phone. Oh, okay. So there's so many ways, and we keep optimizing it, and it's been great to add more and more over time.
And have you seen a lot of studio adoption with this new addition to the technology?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, one of the big use cases for click tracks is in the studio, and that's why it's such a highly requested feature for us and such a big priority. And so, the more we added the support for it, the more we've seen the adoption.
Gotcha. Definitely, that's awesome to hear. Now, speaking of adoption, are you doing most of your sales online through your own website, or are you doing it? You working with a lot of retailers? How are you approaching this in this kind of new medium generation?
Yeah, that's also very interesting, right? How the industry keeps changing, because we can definitely see how it's quite challenging to introduce something really new through a traditional retail channel, because if you think about it, it makes sense. Imagine you walk into a retail store, you've never heard of our product. How could you possibly understand all the things you can do with it? That's a vibrating metronome. It has multiplayer sync. It has DAW integration. There's an app and so forth. Online, you can do that much easier. You just watch the video, you see the artists, you get the demo. And so in that sense, e-commerce has been a lot easier to get people to understand what is this and why is it cool. But then now over time that people have heard about it, the retail sales also start to pick up. So for example, we're in every single Guitar Center in the US.
Okay.
And in total, I think we're in over 1,000 music stores at this point globally. So we're in many countries where you can buy it. But I would say the majority of the awareness is all driven through online videos. That's the key.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be the people see it in action. That's the number one way people are going to generate the interest. Now, what's the gestation period for adoption of it when you buy one, and how long does it take usually for, say, a player to get used to it and internalize it?
Yeah, so that's also has been interesting to learn more about this, because we're basically running the experiments ourselves at the beginning, right? And essentially, there's a learning curve, so that's important to know. So if you buy it, you're not gonna be, it's in a way similar to playing with a audio click for the first time. But then if you're used to playing a click, you can sort of switch and get used to it pretty quickly. I would say after 2 hours of practicing with it, you're pretty much 80% there. And then in order to master it, it'll take much longer. But you already see a significant value and use in it after maybe 2 hours of practicing.
I think. How long did Bryce say it took him to kind of adopt it? I think it was a couple hours. Right, Paul?
I don't remember. Probably. He's a sharp cookie.
Yeah. We have one of our good friends. He's a session player, and he's also goes out on tour. He's now a bass player. He can't make up his mind between being a drummer and bass player. So you should get those multi-instrumentalists like that, Florian, because then you can cover all bases with one guy. But he's seen your technology at like I said 2 years ago at the show there, and he bought it from the floor, and he was just raving about it. And that's the first time I heard about it. He was like, "Hey, you got to shoot this thing," and he was showing it to me, and he said it took him a few hours to kind of adjust to it, but he loved it. He's always been trying to get all the band members to kind of get on it. I think that's the biggest thing is, maybe you should come up with a group discount, man.
We actually already did. So if you go to our website, we offer band packages, so you get 10% off if you buy multiples for that reason, because that's obviously the dream of anyone who plays in a band and has a Soundbrenner Pulse. Then he becomes the missionary and wants to get everybody hooked on this as well. So that's been great, and we try to obviously give discounts to encourage that. And
awesome. Hey, Florian, I hate to cut you off, man. We're down to the last few seconds here. I want to give a shout out to your website, www.soundbrenner.com. Make sure you go check out this amazing tool for keeping time, because time is everything when it comes down to music. Social media, you guys got a couple of websites and stuff like that you share?
Yeah, of course. It's the same Soundbrenner on every channel you can imagine: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Hey, we're right out of time here. Thank you very much. Stay tuned for the next one.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it, because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be the music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?